Get it.
We'll call this meeting of the Craven County Board of Commissioners regular session for Monday, October 18th, 2021 to order. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Smith,
Here, present.
Commissioner Liner,
Here.
Commissioner Mark,
He's here.
Commissioner McCabe,
Here.
Commissioner Mitchell, Vice Chairman Booker,
Here.
Chairman Jones.
Here. If you will, please let's stand together as we salute and pledge to the American flag, which will be followed by an invocation from our county attorney. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, who spoke the heavens and earth into existence, thank you for first loving us and sending your Son, Jesus Christ, that we might have a full and meaningful life. Forgive our many sins against you and against other people. Help us live at peace with our neighbors and in obedience to your will as set forth in the Bible. Gathered here today are leaders who have given their lives to serve others. Help them to love you first, their families second, and other people third. Because without you first in our lives, without loving families, and without love for all people, we cannot expect this great nation and county to be great. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Good morning to each of you and welcome. I would ask this morning that if you have your cell phones with you, if you will please make sure they're on silent. We would appreciate that. Commissioners, you have your agenda there before you. You should have had adequate time to look over it. I would like to ask this morning if the commissioners would consider deferring comments by the Board of Commissioners until maybe the end of our work session so we could go ahead and get into it today. That would be the only change I would ask for our regular agenda. Are there any other changes?
I would make a motion to move on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hear none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Next, you have the consent agenda. You have there before you, under the consent agenda, the October 4th regular session minutes, the tax releases and refunds, the CARTS 5311 designee resolution, Recreation and Parks, Craven Community Foundation grant, the National American Indian Heritage Month proclamation, and then please also recognize there you have the resolution recognizing support of Craven County Sheriff's Office. Are there any items you desire to pull?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the consent as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hear none, Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Liner,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes. Before we get on to departmental matters, I'd like to refer to the county manager, if I could.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. I'd like to take this time to recognize the newest member of my office. Her name is Lauren Wargo. Lauren, if you'd stand up. Lauren started last Monday as the assistant to the county manager, and she's already hit the ground running, working on special projects and doing a lot of things for our office. So we welcome you, Lauren, and this is her first commissioner meeting as well. She does come to us from the city of Havelock, where she had a very similar role.
Well, we welcome you, Lauren. Welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you. Thank you, Jack. All right, the first item on the departmental matters this morning would be CARTS for a budget amendment. Ms. Kelly Walker. Good morning.
Good morning. With the launch of the omnibus on December 1st, 2021, there are some costs associated with the design and printing of the inserts that go into the bus stop location sign holders, as well as omnibus route information such as rack cards. The revenues for these expenses is 100% reimbursable with 5307 CARES Act funding, and we're requesting the approval of a budget amendment in the amount of $8,350 to show the additional revenue and expenses related to these activities.
All right, any questions for Ms. Kelly? Hear none, do I have a motion?
I'll move.
I I have a motion and a second to approve the budget amendment in the amount of $8,350. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Liner?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay? Vice Chairman Booker?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Kelly, we appreciate it. Next, we have departmental matters, planning, Mr. Don Baumgardner. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. We're here this morning to request approval of a tall structure communication tower. The planning board met back on September 23rd to review this tall structure cell tower. It's on property that's owned by Kenneth and Virginia Adams. The applicant is U.S. Cellular. The engineering and consulting was performed by SMJ International. The proposed site is located at 285 Pate Road, and the tower height is 117.6 feet above sea level, and the structural height is 99 feet above the ground level. It's a monopole design, and there is no other towers located within 10,000 feet of this particular location. We requested and we did receive a no adverse impact statement from Seymour Johnson Air Base as well as Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point as it relates to the low-level military operational areas. And at this time, this proposal meets all standards and requirements within the county's tall structure ordinance. We need the board to approve the tall structure cell tower as recommended by the planning board at 285 Pate Road.
All right, questions from Mr. Baumgartner?
Where is Pate Road?
That's out basically in the Green Springs community.
Spring Garden.
I'm sorry, Spring Garden community.
I knew where he
Wrong
meant.
thing going there. Got them reversed. Thank you, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Don, refresh my memory. If we ask, excuse me, Cherry Point or any military base for their opinion, is it my understanding that they won't give an opinion basically, or does this no adverse mean no adverse effect, or does it mean we can't comment?
Basically, the two comments that they will give us is it would create an adverse impact on their operations or it would not. So that's
So those are the two responses.
correct. Whether it's going to have any effect on it, by a slow penetration, in this spot, that would eventually affect the operation of that training route. They're saying this would not affect their operation.
Commissioner Booker, Vice Chairman, Don, the most recent one before this one, there was an opinion from, I believe, Seymour Johnson that it would have adverse effects.
Okay.
And they did note that, Don, I'm thinking about one general vicinity of where we're talking about.
Yes.
Maybe what I'm remembering is legislation they won't make a comment on. Is that correct?
There are some things that the military has trouble answering, but I don't believe this is one of them, Don, in the past.
It's not. It's not one.
Thank you.
It's just that they couldn't tell you no not to put it there. They can only make an.
I think AREY just reminded me, I believe it's wind energy facilities that they have trouble with.
I remember.
Yeah, I think you're
There
right.
was some discussion on that, and they declined to comment, and that must be what it was.
Yeah, there was a policy, and I believe it's still in effect, that the military is not supposed to negatively impact the development of alternative energy sources. So we see it typically with windmill projects.
That's what I recall.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Smith.
I noted that you mentioned Seymour Johnson and Cherry Point. What about the local air station, not air station, the
Airport.
airport?
We,
Would there be an effect on their sight lines, travel
yes.
lines, or whatever the planes are?
we do talk with them each and every time that we have a proposal, but their airspace is not that particular altitude, that's too low for them to have a whole lot of consideration.
They will not, it's not a problem for them now or in foreseeable future.
That's correct.
All right, other questions? Don, I know with solar, we take and we go and, I think it's within our policy that we go and talk to the neighbors around where they're going to put a solar, I don't want to call it a farm because it's not a farm, but solar, whatever.
Boondoggle.
There you go. But we do not, in our ordinance, we do not require that we have to go and contact any of the adjoining landowners to ask, their opinions about this.
No, but what we do take into consideration is a fall zone. The towers are supposed to crumble and go straight down. However, in adverse weather situations or design failures, the towers can extend out the length of the tower itself and fail. So we do require that there be a crash zone around that particular area to encompass this tower without it impacting any type of other buildings or residential development.
I know this farmland, it's on a farm there, and it's actually owned by my aunt's family members. And it's going to be a great asset for rural Craven County because, we don't have any service, and most of us do have U.S. Cellular, and it will be a benefit. But there are some little communities around, I say communities, subdivisions around that area, and that was my only concern. But honestly, for the benefit that it's going to give to our citizens, I can't see that there would be a lot of negative comments about it.
This facility actually is what they call a monopole design. So that, is basically something that if it does fall, it's not as large of a footprint as.
It will have the guide wires too, or does it not?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
On that. Yeah.
All right, any further questions? All right, here none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the structure cell tower, partial ID 9-047-004. Any further discussion on the motion? Here none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, next we have hospice billing rates. Mr. Clayton Gaskins. Good morning, sir.
I believe you all have a copy of this. CMS annually does an increase with our reimbursement rates, and we're just requesting approval to retroactively increase our billing rates back to October 1st. And so the routine home care rate is currently $185 and would go to $205 per day. Continuous home care is $61 and would go to, $60 and it would go to $61. Inpatient respite care is $460 and would go to $475, and general inpatient is $970 and would go to $1,070.
All right, any questions for Mr. Gaskins?
Why is such a big jump?
I'm not real sure, Commissioner McCabe. This is quite a bit more than what it usually is per year, but we take this based off of what CMS gives us as what they're reimbursing. But yeah, usually it's like $5 to $10. So the routine home care, which is what we primarily get, took a pretty big jump, $20.
This is from Medicaid. This is driven by them. This is their salary.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we typically have an annual increase around this time of the year that we go back to October 1 billing.
All right, additional questions? Here none?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the new billing rates for hospice. Any further discussion on the motion? Here none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Next, we have our sheriff with us to award the firearms to retirees. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Chair, Commissioners. This morning I come before you requesting to sell 2 service firearms that were carried by Lieutenant Billy Mathis, who was in charge of our SRO and kind of implemented our SRO program and did a fantastic job, and Sergeant William Marsh, who was one of our sergeants on the road, veteran, and just another outstanding employee. Hated to see both of them go. North Carolina General Statute 2187.2 allows for the governing body of law enforcement agency in its discretion to award a retiring member upon request their service firearm. And the price has typically been $1, and this has been a tradition that's been honored by the county for many years, and I'm requesting y'all to approve that this morning.
Okay, any questions?
So move.
Have a motion, do I have a second? I have a second from Commissioner Smith. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Sheriff, as always, I'll give you the opportunity. You have anything you want to share with us this morning?
I'm going to ask that the board and all of our folks that live in Craven County and surrounding counties to keep Deputy Bellingham in your prayers. Once again, it's going to be a very, very, very long road to recovery. We haven't been getting any good news in regards to his improvement, but we are still keeping our fingers crossed. We're supporting his family and just the overwhelming support of not only this board, our county manager, many county employees, and the public in their donations to help him with this has just been very humbling and overwhelming, and for that I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Any questions for the sheriff this morning?
Has he been transferred or is he still here?
He's still here. We're working on that, working with the family, him, the therapy that he's going to require might require that he go down to Atlanta. So we're just kind of waiting to see how that works out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. All right, next we have facilities, the St. Luke's Building and Window Project Phase 2. Mr. Zach, good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right, buddy. Good to see you.
Too. The Facilities Department replaced all 76 windows on the early 1900s original St. Luke's building, the south side, in 2015. While that project was taking place, we discovered the windows on the 1990s edition, north side, were starting to show their age with signs of leaks, sagging, and cloudiness. There are 37 windows on the north side. These windows have a 20-year warranty and life expectancy, and we're already past that period in 2015. We decided then to include the replacement of the windows on the north side in our capital improvement plan. When we added this project to our capital improvement plan, we set the budget at $100,000 due to conversations with the window manufacturer, Phase 1 contractor, Coastal Craftsman. Due to known material increases over the past 12 to 18 months and further discussions with the window manufacturer and Phase 1 contractor, we decided during budget to increase the project amount to $120,000. At the beginning of fiscal year 22, we set a project scope of work for Phase 2 and asked 3 general contractors to submit the proposal for the project. We contacted R&B Construction, Bruin Builders, and Coastal Craftsman. We received a quote from Coastal Craftsman in the amount of $143,585. Price increase from our budgeted amount in February 2021 to the quote from Coastal Craftsman in September 2021 is driven by material price increases with vinyl, wood, glass, and hardware. Staff is requesting a budget amendment in the amount of $23,585 to contract with Coastal Craftsman to complete Phase 2 of the St. Luke's Building Window Project. The total project cost is $143,585.
All right, you've heard the request. Are there any questions first for Zach? Here.
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
Did we get any quote from the other 2 people?
They declined.
So we only got 1 quote.
And that falls within the...
And that's okay
Yes.
with that?
Because it's an informal, due to the threshold of the funding, it falls in the informal versus formal, and just reaching out to 3 general contractors it allows us to do that. They did, and I have documentation, they did decline verbal or through email.
Thank you.
Okay, additional questions?
Well, the only thing I would say is that I guess we're going to have to expect on any new capital improvements or old capital improvements or any new buildings that we're going to have increases.
I think you're spot on with that, and I think Gene and Zach have already been talking about some of the things you're going to hear about this afternoon. Some of the estimates we have, there's probably a material factor in there and a labor factor, quite frankly, now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second? Commissioner Smith, I have a motion and a second to approve the budget amendment in the amount of $23,585 and to authorize staff to contract with Coastal Craftsman. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Liner,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it, sir. All right, next we have information from on technology for the addition of the video arraignment equipment to courtroom 5. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Board. So in 2015, Craven County implemented a video arraignment system that was purchased from the company JurisLink. This system allows the judicial system officials to conduct various forms of business with detainees being held at the Craven County Jail without having to transport them to the Craven County Courthouse. Use of this system provides for enhanced security measures and resource utilization due to reduction in the number of required transports. Implementation of this system was the result of a recommendation from a Craven County Board of Commissioners work group report from 2013, which was authored by our now Major David McFadden. At the time of implementation, 2 courtrooms were equipped with the JurisLink system, Superior Courtroom Number 1 and District Courtroom Number 4. The recommendation from the work group was to install a video arraignment system in 3 courtrooms. With the current project underway regarding the exterior brick and interior plaster repairs, there will be a period of time that Superior Courtroom Number 1 will have to be vacated and not used. Chief Superior Court Judge Josh Willey recommended that District Courtroom Number 5 be equipped with the JurisLink system, and then that courtroom can be used for Superior Courtroom needs during this process. Once all the repairs have been completed, when Superior Courtroom Number 1 is placed back in use, there will then be 3 courtrooms equipped with the video arraignment system as originally recommended. Staff's recommending that courtroom Number 5 be equipped with a JurisLink system. The turnkey cost for that system is $35,000 as shown in the attached proposal. A budget amendment shown in attachment 7 is the amount of $35,000 will be required, and the IT department will be managing this project. Staff's available if there are any questions.
Okay, questions from the board? Hear no questions?
So move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the budget amendment, amount of $35,000, and to purchase the additional video arraignment system from JurisLink. Any further discussion on the motion? Hear none. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Liner,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Finance, Craven County Schools Budget Amendment. Mr. Craig Warren. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have one item for your consideration this morning, and that is a budget amendment coming out of the School Capital Fund. As part of the fiscal year 2020 budget, Commissioners approved a capital funding request from the school system in the amount of $160,000 to install a new gym floor at West Craven High School. Because this project was classified as a Category 1 project over $100,000, it was budgeted in the School Capital Fund and held until the school system submitted a request for payments. The project was completed in fiscal year 2021. However, only invoices totaling $31,891.84 were submitted for reimbursement. After meeting with the school system staff on the status of their capital projects, it was determined that there were several final invoices totaling $126,557 that had not been submitted for payment against this project. Since this request for payment was not made until after June 30th, 2021, all the remaining funds approved towards this project have rolled back into the fund balance of the School Capital Fund. At this time, the school system is requesting that $126,557 be reallocated from the fund balance of the School Capital Fund in order to process the final payment in closing the project. While $160,000 was originally budgeted, the total cost for the gym floor came in at $158,448.84. The remaining $1,551.16 will remain in the School Capital Fund for use towards future capital projects.
All right, you heard the request. Are any questions? I do have one. Under this current year's budget, did we have an item in there over $100,000 that fit into this category?
Not in the current.
Not in the
budget
current.
this year. Yes,
So
sir.
once this is expended, then as it's stated here, all that will be left in there is the $1,500. Is that correct?
Not exactly. There are a few projects that were approved in last year's budget that have not been fully
done.
requested yet. We're kind of, those would be Havelock High School gym floor was last year, and then there was some fire door replacements at Newbern High. We're still waiting on.
Those are similar to this one?
Yes, sir. They are similar, that partial requests have been made, but they're still pending allocation towards those projects that have not been requested.
Do you know if any construction has started on them, any work has started on those?
I believe they are working towards completing them. That's how.
I know, Mr. Chairman, the fire doors were pretty far along this summer when I spoke with them. I do not have an update on Havelock.
Havelock, I think Havelock's floor is done.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were just there, weren't you?
Aaron and I were just there last week, week before last. I think the floor is done.
My point in saying is, getting back to earlier what Commissioner Mark says, the cost of doing construction work now is, are we going to have to allocate additional funding? But it sounds like most of it's been completed.
There were some projects that they were looking towards as refunds to complete.
Okay.
These two, I believe they may be coming back. I'm waiting for Mr. Stacy Lee to kind of get back in touch with me. He's been kind of took over for the maintenance of the school system. So there was a little bit of transition there, too.
All right. Any additional questions? Here none, do I have a motion to approve the budget amendment? I have a motion and a second for $126,557. Any further discussion on the motion? Here none, Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Liner?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes.
Thank you.
Craig, I like that tie.
Oh, thank you, sir.
All right, this morning we have appointments there. You have the pending, current, and upcoming. Commissioners, do you have any pending nominations for any of these boards? All right, here none, we'll move to current. We have one before us today, Mr. Charles Dudley for the Township 5 Harlow Fire Department. He wishes to be reappointed. Do we have nominations from the floor? Commissioner McCabe?
Charles Dudley be reappointed.
Okay, we have a nomination of Charles Dudley. We have any additional nominations? Here none, he will be accepted by acclamation. All right, Commissioners, you see there the upcoming terms expiring for this fall of 2021. There is a list of them, so please take note of those and let's be prepared. Any additional appointments to be considered today? Here none, we will go to the County Attorney's report. Mr. AREY GRADY.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good morning. I have two items for your consideration this morning, both involving county-owned property acquired through the tax foreclosure process. The first parcel is located in Vanceboro with a parcel ID number of 1-V-06-007. There is no street address associated with this parcel. We own this parcel jointly with the town of Vanceboro. We have received a bid amount of $2,000. The past due taxes and the cost of foreclosure total $4,762.67. Tax value is $4,000. As this is an initial offer, we'll put it out for upset bids and it'll be back before the board. We do understand the town of Vanceboro is satisfied with that amount.
All right, what's the desire of the board?
I had a little problem with my computer finding this. What does the lot look like on that?
Mr. Grady, if you don't mind, I happened to ride by that property on Saturday, Commissioner Mark. It's about two properties before the police station. If you're coming off of Streets Ferry, you're coming into town. It's on the left. There's very little land of this property. It's just borders.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do have the GIS map if you'd like to.
I looked at it myself.
Looks like it might be get a little wet again.
No, I was just $2,000 and it's going to cost us more money. but I can understand on that property.
All right, any additional questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution for the partial here in Vanceboro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. All right?
The second item is another parcel in Vanceboro. The parcel number is 1-028-6001, and there's also not a specific street address associated with this. This is a final approval. We put it out for upset bids without any upsets. The final bid is $3,800. The original taxes and the cost of foreclosure were $3,632.99, and the current tax value is $13,500. If the board sees fit to approve this, we will execute a deed in favor of the bidder and get it back on the tax rolls.
All right, any questions?
I would make a motion that we accept this bid.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the conveyance of parcel number 1-028-6001. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. County Manager.
Mr. Chairman, I intended to pass, but since we're a little early, I'll just comment, and you may talk about it a little bit, but Lauren, myself, two members of our soil and water staff, and the chairman attended a conference last week in Greenville hosted by Congressman Murphy dealing with hurricane, flooding, sea level change, all kinds of different things. It was a very interesting conference. Lots of experts there. I know I brought some stuff back, and Lauren and I have talked. There was just a lot of good information. We continue to follow up with that and see where it goes. But obviously, he knows there's an issue with flooding, and the right people were in the room to start making the decisions that need to be made. So.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Commissioners, we did agree to forego our Commissioners' reports until the end of the work session. Jack, can you give us a little bit of outline for our redistricting workshop, plus we have some additional items that we will cover today?
Yes, sir. So what we'll need to do is take about a 15-minute break to flip the room. Once we come in, if the consultants aren't here yet, I'll ask Mr. Jean to go ahead and do the facility update till they get here, and then we'll immediately switch to them. We'll do redistricting, where you'll be, you've already been given maps for option A and option B. They'll discuss the methodology on how we got there. Your time here is to share with them your thoughts on those two options. Then we'll move forward to a facility update where Gene's going to update you on the new fueling site, the pharmacy, and the carts building, and give you a quick brief on the courthouse, Gene, just some latest information from FEMA on that. And then we'll have an opportunity for the sheriff to present several items to you this afternoon when we get to that point.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board before we take a recess? All right. Hearing none, we're going to take a 15-minute recess, and we'll come back for our work session.